get Miss Independent into the AYM as an AYM. Okay. Well, so should we wait for everyone to join in or what?
No, let's go ahead. It's okay. She will join.
Right. So how can we do that? How can we Africanize the project, Miss Independent magazine, to become a continent-wide project in Sudan, and how to make it purely African without any national, not exclusively.
Okay. Maggie, do you hear us? Maggie, are you actually hearing us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So Mohammed was saying, I was talking about the Miss Independent magazine project. I would suggest that we put other points on the agenda and before moving on. So we can start talking about that as a first point, and then we need to talk about the facilitators hangouts members.
Yes.
And the third point, I would say events and representations of OIM. And the fourth would be like we're gonna talk about the project and magazine, but I would like to know what's the main project because you started the survey or something like that. So maybe address the survey and the main project of this committee. And do you have any other things to add? No. Okay. We will start with the first, which is the magazine, and just to update proposal magazine on behalf of the committee to be to go into the competition of the camp and summit in Germany. So Rahel helped a lot in editing and adjusting this project to fit on OIM vision, and I have sent the project already. So it's now under the selection. So maybe or may not get in, but at least the project now has been edited from Sudan, so from focusing on Sudan to on Africa in general, empowering women in Africa in general and having women. Use the last version I have sent to the camp and workshop, and based on that you can still shape the idea with or without the presenting this project in Germany. We can still work on it, independently. So if you can, I'm not sure if you had a look because I think this conversation was between me, Mohammed, and Rahel when you had this horrible thing happening. I'm sorry. So maybe how are you so far in this idea?
Is there anybody who is writing down the minutes? No?
No. Sorry.
All right, I'll go through the hangout later.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Continue,
so
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Rahel is here.
Sudan.
Yay!
Hey! Hi, Rahel. Welcome. Me?
Okay.
Yeah.
So just and what we're doing. Is that your baby? So just to brief you on what we're doing, we have just that, which we will discuss first the magazine proposal that you and Mohammed worked on, especially, and then events and representation of OIM, and then the survey and main project of this committee. Okay? So now we're just starting with the magazine project.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mohammed.
Okay, so with other vision, it was just a feminist magazine. It would be the first country where there are no feminist voices at all. And yeah, women rights organizations, which joined in Sudan, in few areas in Sudan, like the IDP camps and the bases. And yeah, that was basically the idea of the magazine. It would be available online and our team to 35 in youth hubs and universities and so on. And yeah, we wanted to initially start the magazines with like 3-5 copies, small scale, and later on, after analysis of the magazine impact and yeah, an evaluation, we would expand the reach to 20,000 copies and cover the entire geographic area of Sudan. But now, I guess, as an African topic, you have to a lot. We need a lot more copies, and yeah, and the online version will basically stay the same, but we will have contributions from wider African uh, area, and yeah, it will be purely African instead of just me. That would be awesome. Yeah. That was
Okay,
my suggestion.
I have sent by email the last version of the proposal, which was edited by Rahel. Sorry. And 2 points that changed, I think, in the magazine, which is first, it's Africa Dimension, and it has become, I think, Miss Independent Africana magazine. And then the second main point, I think it's not only submissions from women, but men and women, so gender advocates or feminists in general who are not only women. That's what I could see the main changes. But you can find it on the email now. You can open it and screen through it.
Trying to.
So Maggie, does this give you an idea? Rahel,
Yes.
mute your mic to speak.
Yes, it does. I'll still have to go through it so I can get the whole concept in details. But as of now, I'd have a picture of what it is.
Okay. And Rahel, once you want to speak, you just unmute your mic.
Yeah. Yeah, I see the proposal, and it's but you know, I'm a little bit confused about how exactly are we going to go about this. So I know that the workshop thing that's happening in Germany, we've applied, right? And then somebody will go and participate in that, and then we would basically launch just some of that. But what if we don't get the spot? What do we do next?
Yeah, I was telling them first before you came that if we don't get into Germany, we still want to do this magazine, because already Mohammed, a few months ago, I remember.
Yeah.
But I think he might not have the right team to really support this idea and move it forward. And if it's going to be on an Africa scale, then maybe everybody really can support this idea. So with or without Germany, we can still work now as if there is no Germany. Let's just work on it. And if Germany happens, then that's a bonus, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Okay, then I guess then we could can start maybe I don't know, creating a team, maybe outside of just at least something that's in a timeline, so we know exactly what we should do and by what time we should get those particular tasks done, right?
How do you think we can have, so it could be like a group of this working only on the magazine project. How do you think we should go about it through application, depending on what we need, you know, like designer or fundraiser, or, you know, like what are identified people we would need with certain skills?
I think we have to be open to the fact that we need more people afterwards. So, like maybe a pre-strategic plan, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
I think and the team afterwards, then they would need to be part of the process of making that strategic plan. But
Exactly.
still, in order to get that team, we're going to need to give them something.
Of creating a team and a strategic plan, I could add on to what we already have here. I already, I kind of assembled a little team of Sudanese journalists and feminists who are willing to contribute to the project and dedicate their time to it. So maybe dedicated this project to be all women, but now it's a role in shaping, its future as a gender activist. So I guess I can connect you to the team we have in Sudan, and together we can build on that. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I can just add on what Rahel has said. I do agree with her, but I think we should identify the things that we want to do first. So we could think of coming up with an action plan and perhaps a timeline so that we can be able to know, like, at this particular time, this is what we want to achieve, and this is where we want to be. And then if we have that action plan and then the timeline as well, we'll be able to see how many people we need. And we may see, do we really need people like from our external networks, and how many will be needed? Perhaps we may need, we may have a lot of people within our networks already. It couldn't be all from the gender committee, but other committees as in African Youth Movement who can come in and help. So maybe we may not really need to advertise it as per se, because we may already have the people that will be needed along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Movement, that would be a good team in itself. And then if we need more writers or something, we can just do some like call for contributors or something like that.
Yes.
So how do we go about the action plan or the timeline, as you suggested, Maggie?
Perhaps, first of all, we can learn from what Muhammad did and how he went through what he has done to come up with the launch, and see what we want to modify. So we can open up a Google Doc whereby everybody can type in and fill in how we want it to be like. So we can put in all our ideas together, and then everybody can be able to edit, and we can talk about it over a Google Doc. So we can give ourselves maybe 3 days or a week to. How do you look at that?
Perfect. Great. Anything else on the magazine before we move?
Yeah. Actually, the magazine is a finalist for AIF Alumni Engagement Fund. So how do we do that? How do we get that if we got the grant? How do we deal with that? So it's funded by any foreign fund that we agreed upon. All right. Should be.
So you said you did it for which grant?
The U.S. Department, the State Department's Alumni Engagement. $25,000. So insider. Our chances are really good. So what would happen if we got it? Now I don't want to get it.
I don't want to get the grant anymore.
To not get it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't want the grant.
This is a great feeling, huh? What the grant actually? Because if that's very important for you and you need to start your magazine with a grant, maybe then you go back to the initial project to be in Sudan, and then with us you can build it up on an Africa scale. But maybe it's early to judge now because you might or might not get the grant. But in terms of, as I said before, we don't really because we get every day a lot of proposals and support for funding actually, but we do not accept the funding, be an Africa-generated funding, or it has to be a fundraising effort of the people standing up for the project. But we look also for like funding from like African companies, but they have to be, you know, Africa, like startups. So it's not like they have to be agencies or they have to be NGOs, you know? Like we can get funding even from companies, but they have to be Africa.
I can.
So maybe it's a bit early. So once you get the grant, maybe we can discuss that.
What
do you think, Rahel?
I have a route to not get a grant before, so this is
Definitely agree with your assessment. I mean, because you've been working very hard on this project, Mohammed, you would probably, I can imagine you would still want to launch something within the Sudan. But in the long run, it would be more sustainable for us if we do not rely on these grants, because usually we'd have African companies or African sponsors, and that would make our movement more authentic and donor dependency. Yeah.
So also, I guess now we can we don't have to launch the project just exactly as I proposed for Sudan. It can be launched online at the first phase, and later on, when we can afford it, it can be paper magazine. Also, that's an idea. So to you know, be more realistic about the content, wide reach, and at the same time deliverable content. So I guess we can start online, which is a lot cheaper than finding ways to print all of these copies right now at the current rates, which are really expensive. I had no idea before.
Yeah, I think also now, like, even if we're gonna seek sponsors, African sponsors, the idea of digital.
The project really expensive.
Sorry, we've been talking at the same time.
There's a delay.
Yeah, go ahead, continue.
No, you.
I was just adding to what you're saying, that actually the idea of digital, you know, now it's the digital word. So the idea of having something digital has become very in terms of sponsorship, you know. So not only for the reach, but to have a digital project or, you know, social impact through digital means and things like that has become more attractive. So that could be also helpful.
Much harder to find sponsors for this project, and I'm sure you know that. Yeah. So okay, that's awesome for the magazine. I guess we have enough to move on to the next point on the agenda, which is the events and campaigns.
Okay, so the next point on the agenda is the facilitators and the hangouts, and I would like to start with the members actually. So I think we're missing French and Arabic facilitators, Maggie, right?
Basically, the Arabic facilitator resigned, and that's Basma. But the French facilitator he was active for some time, and he's just gone silent for the last weeks. I've been trying to contact him through email, but I couldn't really get hold of him. So I haven't heard from him yet.
So basically, not going to take anybody out, but we just keep adding people in, you know? And maybe those people who are not active right now, when they see what other people are contributing, they might move at some point, you know? So it's not about replacing people, but it's about just adding more people to the mailing list.
Sounds a good idea.
So my question is about the selection. Do you want to for us to open a new application, or do you want to go about it through personal networks?
We noted that we have put up like those who would love to volunteer with us. So I think that can also be a good way of getting some people who may be of help, or people who can really fill up the gaps that are already existing. If we get people who are interested, then some of them interest to be part of the gender committee or to volunteer in any capacity they may take committees. So I don't know how everybody's looking at that, but I think that could be the first chance to take advantage of.
I didn't get you very well. You said the volunteer.
Okay, I noted that as AYM opened up an opportunity people could express interest to volunteer in any capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so first of all, we could actually consider those people who write up as they are expressing interest to volunteer, that they could take up the facilitation roles in different committees. So if we have anybody who may express interest in the gender committee, then they can help or volunteer in the facilitation. So I just don't know how everybody else is looking at it, but I think that would be a starting state.
Great. I guess, yeah, I guess we do have some people who, who are willing to volunteer for the role of French facilitators. You know, Marwa and Rahma, and maybe Ala, I know they would be interested in taking up such a role, so I will contact them and see what they can do. So now for sorry.
Sorry, I'm always interrupting you. Go ahead. I thought you finished when you paused.
Where was I? Now I'm lost.
You
Yeah,
said
so I
Rahma.
will Rahma, Ala, and I know they would be interested in contributing to maybe volunteer to be French facilitators for from time to time. So I will contact them and see what if they would be interested. Now survey, I guess. Am I right? Would we move
Okay.
on from?
No, I explain a bit about this.
All right.
So for the volunteers who like we have a sign-up sheet on the website, and there are volunteers who come in from time to time. But till now, there is nobody who showed interest to the gender committee. So most of the volunteers are interested in other committees or in general in LYM, like communication, translation, things that relates in LYM in general. So at this point, we may not rely on that list because occasionally, but I want to stress the importance of facilitators to have them regularly and in each committee, is because every facilitator will organize one Google Hangout every month, live broadcast discussion on the topic of the committee. Well, the topic has to be different from each month, but it has to be at least 1 hour of discussion in each committee, in each language. And the purpose from this is actually to engage more people in AOIM, first to engage more people in the discussion and to really discuss controversial issues and to really be open to discuss things, and also to engage more people with AYM. So those people who will start following us and the discussion, they will become engaged themselves. And then those are the people you recruit on a long term for the open application, and you close, people will make their application perfect. But in terms of engagement later, it's very relative. And as you see, from 5 members, only 2 members are committed now. So actually the Hangouts, they're on the one hand really important to build up discussion on, you know, the issues of gender, but also another way to engage committed people on the long term who really understand what, you know, how LIM discuss things and what we do, etc. It's kind of to build community around gender equality committee, but on a regular basis. So really the 1 hour hangout every month for each facilitator is crucial. So we need to have French and Arabic facilitators for this committee who have this title and who knows that their task every month, beside being part of the committee activities, is to organize this hangout. So why I asked, do we go back to application or networks? It's because we tried the open application and we've seen the results, and that's why now I prefer maybe personal networks or people we know are committed. And yes, Mohammed, if you can contact especially the Arabic, people who can commit to Arabic, because that's really our struggle, to find people from North Africa really committed. Till now, we have, from 9 committee, we have 4 Arabic facilitators who are really engaged. So if you can find, if you can nominate names, and I can contact them myself to offer them, this volunteer position to join, that would be great. And also Rahel or Maggie or Rachel, if you have some people who we think are potential, and we can address them, we can explain and maybe have a Skype discussion and just offer them what they should expect from working in this committee, and then see if they accept or not. How does everybody feel about this?
I can't think of anybody at the moment. So if you maybe send me maybe like something that describes what they have to do, then I can look through it and then maybe think of people and send it to them. But honestly, right now, I can't think of anybody. Commitment is so hard to find these days, by the way.
Of course. Yeah, I will. I can send you the application that we opened previously. It has the requirements and eligibility and everything.
And I think on top of using our own networks, we can also just put it up as an advert, as we did. We can advertise it so people can also apply as well. And I mean, there's no harm in having many of them, and that at least we can have a choice, and we can also see who is being involved much. So we can do both. We can use our networks, and we can also be able to advertise it, and then people should apply.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, great. So action point on this, I would create again the application for French and Arabic facilitator for this committee, and send you the link, and you can diffuse it on your own networks. Okay, that would be, I think, easier and much smoother to approach people. And one of the things that, of course, we learned throughout the process of selection is that now we will require in the application that people actually organize Hangout and send us the link, so that you as co-chairs don't really struggle later to explain how to do the Hangout, what is expected, etc. So it will be one of the requirements to organize your own Hangout and base it in this committee, and you will be the main facilitator. Okay. What I will just ask from you, Mohammed and Maggie, is that yes, it's the task of the facilitator to do the Hangout, but it's really how you support that and how you follow up on that. The main structure is that we need to have a concept note of what is the Hangout 10 days before the actual date of the Hangout. So as OIM, we can mobilize and we can promote this Hangout through social media. So we just need a concept note, one paper saying what's the topic of the Hangout, when is the time, who are the speakers or panelists or young people involved in this discussion, and the questions, follow-up questions. And that's also for you as a committee to know. And this concept note also will help the facilitator to, if they don't have the network, if, for example, they want to invite certain expert this month and they don't really have to, so they can just diffuse this concept note, and we, as OIM, in different committees, help nominate people they can contact. Okay? So your role as co-chairs is also to make these Hangouts possible. It's not just an independent role of the facilitator. You really have to follow up with them and support them in any way they can make it. And they don't feel like, okay, that's like a task that I have to do and that's it. It's part of the committee work. Make sense? Okay, I see nodding heads. Good. Any questions?
I just wanted to say that if you guys need help or developing a concept note, I happen to be quite into gender, so you can ask me and I can throw ideas. I always have ideas.
Awesome. Great. I think, Maggie, you developed at the beginning of the year a list of the topics throughout the year, right? So maybe you can share that and everybody can shape it, because this has been the beginning of when you didn't know each other, and so maybe now more ideas can be brought in. So maybe you can share this action plan of the year again, and it could be shaped. Yeah? Okay. Mohammed, we can move to the next point on the agenda, which is events and representation of OIM. So basically the idea was to make a calendar. Many of the committees has been really active in this. So it's a calendar where we put all the key events that affect or that really impact the decisions in Africa around gender issues, and to have this committee represented, either through you as members or through the networks that you decide if you cannot really make it. So the idea is an application, then we all support one applicant. You know, it's stronger when it's one person with the support of everybody. So we recommend certain application as OIM. We nominate sometimes opportunities come in and out, like the Germany one, and things like that. So it's basically the representation of this committee on gender platforms around the world. It really needs the voice of African perspective. So I didn't see this list again happening, and there are many like gender issues going on. I think the only event that we participated in so far is the CSW in New York that I participated in, but there are many gender platforms that we really need an African perspective in it. If we can put a list, and also okay, of course, many of the events are financed and funded by the organizers. But if there is a really like important event that one of your committee should be involved in this slide or something like that, we can, if we decide now the list and the event's like 3 or 4 months from now, we can still work on fundraising for that, you know? If you feel that you all agree on those events, that we really need our voice to be there. And then if it's funded by the organizer, we make a strong application. So you share your application with the whole committee, and we edit and review and make it strong. We send references OIM, or if it doesn't provide funding, you still apply or register, and we can still support in different ways. Yeah?
It looks like Mohammed is not here anymore. Did he leave?
Oh yeah, I think.
I can't see him.
Okay, I'm glad I am broadcasting.
Well, maybe the next issue would be on the survey that we sort of developed, and Mohammed translated the English version that I came up with into we were waiting for Cyril to translate it into French, and then unfortunately he is not available at the meantime. So I think it's just time that we should share this survey that people can start filling it up online, and then we can get the results maybe in the next weeks. So for now, if we can find somebody who can do it in the French version, that will still be fine, but we can start with the Arabic and the English version. So maybe we should just put it up, and then we can ask everybody to start putting the ideas on it and filling the survey on.
So we can ask one of the other French, speaking in other committees to do that. So if you want to send an email to the whole mailing list of the committees, that would be great. And then ask them if any of their French speaking can volunteer to translate that.
Great.
And I can diffuse it, and we can also share it on social media and everywhere to get as many people as possible.
Great.
Ahmed, you're back. Mohammed, can you hear us? You can hear us?
Sorry, I have to go do something real quick. I'll be back in like 5-10 minutes.
Sure. Mohammed, can you hear us? Unmute your mic because we can't hear you. You should unmute your mic. Okay.
Yeah, I was hearing you all along. I just didn't notice the muted mic, so sorry.
Okay. So when did you lost the discussion? What was the last?
Moving to the next point.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. So Maggie was sharing about the survey, that it's now in Arabic and English, and she will send an email to the whole IYM committees to ask if any of their French speaking would like to translate it to French. And then once it's ready, you can diffuse it among the IYM, and then we will share it on social media, and you can all share it in your network so you can get as many answers as possible.
Awesome. Actually, I have some questions. The survey, the English and Arabic version are not exactly the same, because I kind of didn't understand one of the questions on the survey, so I couldn't really translate it. So I really would like to know what the last question in the survey is. I don't remember, so I'll...
Maybe we need to look.
Did you find it yet?
I'm looking.
Maggie, can you?
If you can just forward it again to me, that would be fine.
All right.
Okay,
if you have it with you, can forward it to me, or you can just read it out, Aya.
All right. Did you find it? I still didn't.
No, I didn't find it. Look for it later and just send us like the question to the whole committee, and
yeah,
I'll try to translate with you.
No, I'm good. Also, French version of the survey. You say, sorry. We still don't have a French version. Aya?
Yeah. I thought Maggie would answer, so I was.
Yeah, and then I suggest some other committees who can help us in translating it into French with one facilitator. Yeah.
Cool. So when are we launching the survey exactly? Like, do we have a date yet? Or?
Yeah, we could launch it maybe over the weekend, so people can start filling it in the next week or the next 2 weeks.
So Sunday, launch it?
Yes, on Sunday, launch it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so so now you have the survey and the magazine as projects of this committee. So I think it's really already a good start. Anything else? So we just need to get more facilitators and people engage in the magazine, and it's already a lot of work.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else, like any other ideas or anything else to add, or?
Events? I was away or something?
Didn't hear about the events at all?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I was asking, where did you lose us?
We were switching to the event.
Okay, but briefly, of course you can watch this video and see in details, but briefly, what I was saying about events is that you as a committee need to put a list of key events around gender where you think your voice from an African perspective needs to be heard in there. And I was saying that the only event we attended this year regarding gender is the CSW in New York, but there are many other like events happening around the world that really needs a gender perspective that's only Western, perspective. And the two options are, if the event really supports the participants in funding, then we choose one or two people who are available from this committee and support their application. You fill the application, you share it with the whole committee, and we edit it, review it, and advise and support in it. So you can have a strong application possible. and then you submit it, and if it needs recommendation, we send recommendations on your behalf and things like that. If the event doesn't have funding for the participants, and you as committee decide, okay, for this year we think this event is really crucial to have our voice in it, then we can also, if we know that the event is 3 or 4 months away, we can also work on fundraising as a committee to support one of you to really go and have representation there. So that's basically how we want to represent this committee. It's really a committee work, you know, to have your own agenda, and you want to bring that African perspective to the different worldwide platform in Africa or abroad. Yeah? Okay. Cool, cool. Okay, so, okay. And anything else?
I guess that's it. We covered all the points on the agenda for today. Maybe.
Yeah.
Was that Rahel?
Rahel, yeah.
Rahel, not Rahel. Yeah.
Maggie, do you feel
Should we
better?
start this session already?
I'm better now. Everything was really that bad, but I'm better.
To new laptop and everything?
Yes, I did. So I'm just trying to catch up and like with all the information and the data that I had. So yeah. So it's a little bit, I'm working a little bit under pressure, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. It happens.
Well, it's waiting for you.
He's in the park with his father.
He's not
Yeah.
a baby, he's a boy now.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Next meeting he'll participate.
Great. In July, somewhere there.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. Just let me know if you're ever nearby here.
Yeah.
But I've only lived here for 2 years.
Awesome. So, maybe you're next door.
It's early there.
Used to go to Africa again.
Great. So the last 2 points we discussed, you didn't miss much. We just discussed the survey, and it's going to be translated into French, hopefully, and it's going to be launched on Sunday. And then we can share it, answer those questions.
Now, what do we do with the questions after? I mean, we're going to develop a report of some sort?
To actually help us to say, to know the focus areas that we need, or like that the youth are looking forward for us to address, and then we can look for opportunities that we can find out in terms of and young people. So we are going to either set up projects that will focus in such areas, going also to help young people to understand. So it will be more of a benchmark for us to know what is it that the young people are looking for, or what is it focus on and relate to such issues.
Yeah. I'm sort of cool, and I'm trying to get into research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would like to see us also maybe develop some type of report or an article about it, if it's possible, you know, like if the questions answer something in particular. I think in the future, if AYM becomes like a research think tank of some sort in Africa by Africans, I think that's a very good thing, and I would love to be part of that.
People will make it happen.
Okay. Then.
Yes, Mohammed, you want to conclude?
Thank you so much, Rahel, Maggie, and Aya for participating. This was an awesome session. I expected a lot of technical problems, but thank God they're all with you. And see you next month, inshallah. And I will see you, Maggie.
Yeah. I'll show you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.